is 2019-1623 Virtue in Syracuse accepts a grants package from the Friends of Warner Parks to the Metro Board of Parks and Recreation to provide staffing for the Warner Parks Center, Nature Center support, and the SWEAT program for additional labor for summer maintenance. Have a motion?
So moved.
Anything?
Is
Anybody from Parks?
She's in the hallway.
Oh, hi there.
Would you like to tell us anything about this? Or?
Like I said, as far as summer, additional help for the summer is $82,000. It's an annual grant that we get every year.
Yeah. So it's summer program funding, and it doesn't have, pursuant to our previous discussions, it doesn't have lifetime benefit
Lifetime
type
benefit.
No benefits.
Yeah, it is just, yeah.
Any other
I want to work
questions?
summer and have lifetime benefits.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Very good. And we have one on second reading. We have a letter, 2019-1476, Hastings, Virtue, and others, declares surplus and approves for disposition of a parcel of real property known as 0 Brick Church Pike. Councilman Hastings has a letter. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
I guess my question comes for parks. I know last time we kind of discussed its adjacency to some land that is already land banked on behalf of parks. And so I know colleagues had some questions as to, maintenance concerns and so forth. But best I can tell from the photos I've seen, forested creeks and so forth. So it is pretty typical land banking. I mean, there's not mowing and, the maintenance that might come through different types. So did parks have any sort of response as to accepting that? And if you could, please, can you just identify yourself?
Shanita White,
Hi,
Assistant
Shanita.
Director of Finance and Administration.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you.
In discussion with the Finance Department and our stance on it, we would take it, but we are not in the position to buy it, to purchase it for the, what is it, $720?
I so appreciate you saying that, and with that, I will have to vote no.
And I'm also a no on this one.
Huh, interesting. I don't see how banking land that is unusable for parks is a better solution than providing the money for the schools. How is that?
Well, I guess my concern comes because I think it is environmentally sensitive land. So, I have in my own district along 70 South, not quite yet adjacent to the Warner Parks, hilltop land. And, I've been working with nonprofits and other to, bank that land because I think from an environmental sensitivity standpoint, it's important to retain that hilltop land. Land with springs and so forth on it.
Yeah, I don't have any question that you know what's going on in your district, and you've been very thoughtful, particularly in green matters. But we've got a letter from the council member of that area asking for approval, and I want to give him the same consideration that he knows what's best. I have also a number of different conservation overlays, and there's even on Chadwell, there's a metro park that no one knows is a park because it's just park land that they basically just have to mow. But there are other situations, I think, in areas where there are hilltops and things that you and I have been very mindful of making sure that if development comes, that it comes in a smart way. But I want to afford the council member the opportunity to act as on behalf of his district, and so I'm gonna vote in favor of this.
But I think we're all thinking kind of citywide and weighing, the benefit to schools of the potential additional revenue, but also I think what many of us consider to not be good kind of business practice, right, to be selling land to meet operational budget needs. I mean, I just think that's just bad practice. So I respect Councilman Hastings' opinion, but, surplusing and selling this land is not necessarily beneficial to his district. It just happens to be within his district. And I respect that, but
Yeah.
it's not that he is selling this for a particular development that he thinks is going to bring benefits to his community. We're just going to surplus this and try to sell it on the open market as we've done before, and as we've seen on Charlotte Pike, we got less than appraised value. And I would question here too, Mr. Harmon, there's multiple streams on this property, and as far as, what I understand from kind of T-deck and buffers and springs and so forth, it doesn't really look like the appraisal took all that into account, is what those buffers were and the developable area. So I think it's just kind of like, oh, here's 11 acres off of Trinity Lane with these boundaries, but I didn't see anything that really spoke to those issues as far as the appraisal.
I'm sorry, the question?
My question is, did the appraisal take into account the developability, given the environmental concerns around the multiple streams and spring?
And I would have to defer to MMPS on that, as they ordered the appraisal.
And I'm sorry, I haven't read through the whole appraisal, and Mr. Prophet isn't here. But they order pretty thorough appraisals when they ask for them, but
What was the appraisal again? I forgot.
$720,000.
Okay, and what's it zoned? Is it zoned?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Gotta be zoned something.
What is it zoned?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Everybody knows?
Oh, is it here?
Certain spot, AR.
11. Nobody knows what it's zoned.
And I
We're
think
selling it prior to
How
zone.
do they do the appraisal if you don't know what the zone is?
It's in the appraisal.
Yeah, the appraisal would have known what it was zoned, we just don't know off the top of our head.
Well, a lot of times when we get in these council-matic situations, then I know that I lean on our remaining 4 at-large members to be able to have the time to look at the bigger picture, and I'd like to hear from Mr. Cooper.
Well, a couple of things. I appreciate you're asking. One is, it's a big assumption what you're going to get for this. We have seen market failures in the other cases. There's no backstop knowing what the minimum is. And I have heard from community members who did not feel that the appraisal was necessarily accurate and had a pretty detailed rebuttal of that. And I have also heard from many community members that really did not want the sale to go through. And it would be particularly abhorrent if in the end we didn't end up getting that much money for it. But we're selling the city for parts, we're fire selling it, you're put in a difficult situation. Somebody knew it was up for sale. And I am highly influenced by Parks, which is very cooperative department in our city. I will say that if they had known about it, they would have said, gee, this is fitting our vision for this area of Nashville. And I totally appreciate the councilman's being a good soldier on this.
Yeah.
And,
There you go. Well, and here's the quandary too. Here's the quandary too. You talk about the appraisal and what it's actually going to bring, but also we have to look at the manpower that Parks has. We keep adding on all these properties and parks, and I know that right now the water department gets them to mow all these floodplain properties on overtime on Saturdays.
This is
Because they don't have
forested.
time.
This is forested. You don't have to have anything to mow.
Right. So my quandary here is it going to bring what it's appraised at? But at the same token, if you give it to Parks, like I mentioned the other day at the meeting, I asked Director Odom, where are you going to get the people to maintain all this property we keep giving them? We just did some property with Councilman Swope, I think, down in his district, and we just keep adding on this property. But I know one of my relatives, he's a supervisor. He's got 16 parks. He had 16, 17 people, and now he's down to 12. He said, I can't do it. He said, I can't keep taking on more of this work and keeping up with all these parks. And we just don't have the people to do it. So that's the quandary.
Linda, let me, real quick. As far as, why did this came in front of the Parks Committee to see if Metro Parks could use the property. Is that correct?
Well, because it was actually not schools. It's
No. Councilman, why did it come before this committee?
Well, no, this was an interest of some people in the community asking if parks could take on this land. This had nothing to do with parks. This is.
No, that was my question, though.
Yeah.
Why is it in front of this committee?
This is, I have no idea why it's in front of this committee. I don't know.
This committee is not the Budget and Finance
No.
Committee. This is the Parks
Or
Committee.
education.
And
yes.
Parks has said that they do not want this property.
Yeah.
Well,
No, they said something a
we
little
would,
different.
when schools
They're
approached
never
and
gonna say
said,
we don't want
yeah,
Schools?
exactly.
Let me.
It'd be a
Can I
great law.
clarify? Let me get this here, because this is I've been in the midst of this. Schools did not approach the parks. There was a community, some people in the community advocates, some people that asked about saying, we would rather for this area to be a park. But my communication with the community was saying it doesn't necessarily go like that. I did talk to Director Odom about this. She was, I'm just out here because I was brought into the picture of asking if we would accept that. But I know it is a process. It did go before, like any surplus land, goes to each department to see if they would take it. Nobody responded from the parks. Nobody responded from any other departments for that. We are in a place right now to where the schools put it up the land to be sold. I did speak with the administration and then also some of the other guys with the school side to see what was going on. But this actually, which I have continually said over and over again, this actually has nothing to do with parks at this time.
except that it's adjacent to current
It
land.
still has nothing to do with parks.
Well-
We need to deal with the issue that is at hand. Even though it's adjacent, there are other pieces of property. If we deal with the issue that's in front of us, we could actually go back to do something else later. But as of right now, this has nothing to do with parks.
Well, I mean, respectfully, I disagree.
Well, I'm sorry, you can disagree, but that is the truth. This has nothing to do with parks.
Well, we're here in the Parks Committee discussing it.
Yes,
so.
all right. Go ahead.
Is there any other discussion?
Yeah.
I guess I would just ask Mr. Harmon, is the only information, is this the total appraisal? Is a cover letter from Huber and Lamb? Or is this is just a summary of important facts and conclusions here that we have?
It's just a couple pages, it would just be a summary.
Okay.
There would be a,
So can anyone speak to whether or not the streams issues were evaluated?
we would have to read the appraisal, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, I mean, I guess my concern, if you want to put it back, Councilman, in the budget and finance space is, highest and best use, medium density, single family development that doesn't even look at, as best I can tell or that we know, all the various stream buffers, the developable area of it. So we have the reality that we may surplus this with the thought that, we're going to get schools $750,000, and in the end, we get half that or less that, or, and if we just go back again to the budget and finance space, it's just on principle bad practice to be selling land to meet operational budget
I have a
needs.
question. If you had, if I know that we're appraising this land prior to rezoning, prior to development, someone's coming in to look at maybe getting this land, thinking that I can get this maybe a little less because of the EBID process, and then I'll figure it out later. Even if schools gets $500,000, that's $500,000 they don't have now, and it's land that we are not using, and that Parks is never going to say, you want to give us some forest? We'll take forest. Sure, we'll take forest, because that's their job. So if it's not, they didn't request the land, and Metro's not planning on using the land, then it's really, it's as though schools is selling their own land practically. So I'm still not getting why it's a horrible thing. I'm just not getting why that's a bad
The
idea.
zoning is 7.5.
RS.
RS.
Is it RS or R?
It's RS.
RS.
Yeah,
It's in the summary.
the topography for that piece of land is horrible. And that, it's only a small piece that it is buildable, so I'm not.
Only a small buildable piece.
Yeah, only a
It
small
has topo
Yeah, I don't know.
issues.
I don't know. That's
And that-
traditional thinking though,
Yeah.
because there's a parcel of land between Broadmoor and Ben Allen that has 14 different housing types that they figured out how to do while not disturbing the forest land. So I'm not an engineer. That's not what we're here to do.
Yeah.
If Parks didn't ask for the land, if Parks had asked for the land, then we should consider that in advance of selling it, but they didn't ask for it.
Yeah, the parks will never ask for the land when they know that the administration wants to
Start going
surplus.
circles, folks. All right, Councilman Cooper, you want last?
Well, just to sum up,
I'm gonna.
I do think that Parks is not making this up, that they had a glitch internally and made a mistake, or they would have raised their hand and said, this is not really surplus, this in fact
Interesting.
fits our plan. And I think,
Thank you.
and I have been told that Parks is going to change its own internal processes so that they are quicker to raise their hand in
Okay.
these circumstances. So
That's interesting.
I do respect that, and also it is agonizing, but this is not going to solve the $38 million problem, and it is creating an opportunity for the city to be pretty taken advantage of. Why not do the zoning, come up with one? If it's really valuable and we're going to get the money, then we're going to have to do a process. This is not news. Since June, we have known that we needed to do this. I appreciate MMPS is trying their best to work through a difficult situation. I also appreciate Parks sitting there going, we didn't really know about it, but we have a big, view of Parks. And then also, I always want to defer to the councilman on everything, but I will say, I have received many, and I just, every now and then, you have to just say, please forgive me, but I've got to listen to, they're my people too.
Chris, quick question. Chris, the property that's going to be sold here, was this one of the pieces of property last year when we passed the budget?
No.
This is what we were using to,
No.
Well,
did it come later, or how is
the
this?
school board made the determination, and I'd have to let Mr. North speak to how they did
Run
that.
through that process from the budget year last year. Initially, the mayor proposed that Merle School be sold for $13 million, which of course was way more than what it was worth, right?
Was that over on
but-
8th?
It's over off of 12th. It's between 12th and 14th.
Community garden.
Right, okay.
Right, at a community garden
Yeah, okay.
and historic area. That was changed to the bus garage, which is necessary to operate the school system. So selling real property was part of what was in the budget passed by the council to create revenue to run the operating budget for the school system. And so we couldn't sell the bus station and still operate the school system. And so so we surplus property we don't need. There were 4 pieces of property that were surplus. One was in Councilmember Wiener's district, that's the Brookmead Elementary. One was in Councilman Roden's district, which is the old Hickman. One was in Councilman Syracuse district, which was on Pennington Bend Road. And then one is the one you're discussing now. That adds up to, if the appraised value of those adds up to $5.4 million. The other 3 are, I think, actively now have gone through the system and are active in the e-bid process now.
Had pretty good community support in the other 3
Right.
cases for moving
So
ahead
we've
with
surplus
it.
those other 3.
And so the schools don't, the school board doesn't need those properties, right? Any of those 4, including this one.
So the three have been moved on successfully. This one has a deep level of community apprehension about it. Parks would have raised their hand and said, please give it to us as opposed to selling it. And then the amount of money is relatively speaking trivial. So though everybody's being a good soldier. And I want to compliment schools for saying, hey, you had 1, 2, and now here's this other solution to try to make it work. And I appreciate parks for standing up and going, we may have made a mistake here. That takes a certain amount of courage
And
too.
Mary, to your concern, we were discussing a little bit earlier before you came in. I mean, this is like 100% forested land. So from a maintenance perspective, it's already adjacent to other forested. So it's not like in your district when you had a big old golf course you take on, somebody's got to mow that, like that becomes a maintenance issue.
I'm kind of with you, though. It's one of these where, whatever they give the money to schools, or do I want a big forest that somebody's got to...
Nobody, I mean, the only, I don't want to say that it's unusable land because that decreases the value of the land. I mean, I really believe, because I have come in contact with some amazing engineers in my district that have used land that you would otherwise thought unusable. And I will encourage them to go to eBid because
Well, how do we keep control of what it sells for?
we
Do
don't.
we have any control of that or not?
Can there be a floor?
My understanding from the finance department is there's a minimum bid at 80% of the appraised value, which is $596. I think.
And what if it doesn't sell? What happens then?
Then we'd have to reevaluate.
Will it still
What are
have
we
that
doing on the-
30-day cash close thing that you did
Yeah.
on Charlotte?
I'm sorry.
Will it still have the 30-day cash close that you had on Charlotte that probably limited your bidders?
Some of the feedback that we've gotten recently has indicated that we needed to make that close time 60 days, and we have done that on the properties that we just posted, the 2 school properties and then the fire hall property.
And is it 5% non-refundable deposit?
Yes.
So that ends up being in something that has a whole lot of engineering work in order to determine its viability. The non-refundable earnest, the 60 days is a great idea, of course, and then letting people know that you'll bring it back otherwise. But the Green Hills Fire Station is being relisted
Yes, it is.
at a lower price.
It was discounted by about another 10%.
So that auction failed, and then you discounted that down, and now you got 20 cents below that, so you could be a third down below the Green Hills Fire Station. Right. So you see, it's a very complicated way to. It's not a very good way to sell complicated real estate, by and large.
Well,
And
this is your wheelhouse, so I understand that. But I the 60 days seems still short to me because
Yes.
it's government.
well, and then
But
you might have
can't-
rezoning.
I don't know that we can address that here or not. I think, like you said, this, as it relates to parks, do we approve or disapprove this moving forward as a committee as is? Or if we say no, we're still going to have the same conversation on the floor. And if it doesn't sell, or if it doesn't pass, then it goes back around and Parks will, I would assume, very quickly say, we'll take it now. Then I don't know who benefits at that point. I don't understand.
Well, the community that's contacted me would say that
Well, you're
that
hearing
it
from
would
people
benefit
that I haven't heard from, so that's.
by putting it with the adjacent pieces of property and in that general space, it's preservation. But I may make just a narrower point that in the surplusing process, that agencies may be directed to get rid of their surplus land, but if another agency says, well, actually, we do want it, and I don't think they're bucking for more maintenance either, right? We do want it, then I want to respect that process too.
Sure.
And that fundamentally it's about respecting that process. If they had never said we made a mistake, then I think you'd have a hard time. But they are saying we made a mistake. And thus, I don't know how it got to this committee, but, we're supportive of the Parks Department generally, though respectful of the mess that all of this has gotten us into. But the $5 million is not going to replace the $13 million, and the $500,000 from this is not going to fix that. And 3 have gone on in the normal process, and hopefully hopefully finance in its responding to the situation is going to let those run for 60 days and not 30 days and try to get a more benefit. But if you got slopes and you got to be engineered, and how many sites are there, and they're a pad, and what's the grade, and where's the water, oh boy, that's a lot to get done in 60 days, even in 60 days, and impossible in 30 days.
Yep.
Unless you already knew something and you're sitting there waiting to reel it in. Right. But anyway, just with total respect on that basis, on the general matter of surpluses in land in Nashville, I have to vote no if asked. If we're surplusing it and another department such as Parks says, we'd like it. But you all are feeling the effect of not having enough maintenance money more than anybody, Parks is, so that you're not bucking for a bigger job unless you really wanted it. Right.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to close out. I understand what a lot of you are saying here. Me being here, of course, representing the community and what the community is saying. But overall, after speaking to the director and some of the others, it's going to take a lot, even with going through the parks process, and that's why I don't really know why it's here. I don't know why it's here, especially right now, especially when this is not a parks issue. This is a schools issue. So education is where it needs to be. But it is here. We can deal with that, but as of right now, we can't make it a parks issue. That is one of the hardest things that I'm dealing with this overall plan that's inside of my district.
Well, let's get it out of the committee then.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
No.
No.
I have 2 no. 3 no's? Are you voting no as well?
I'm voting no as well.
Okay, so it passes 5-3. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Any other business of the committee? We stand adjourned.